actually, yeah, it come and goes. Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, but what you're hearing here is the, of course, something might sound really familiar to a lot of people, the background noise of the external input of the 6581 being amplified, basically. So the SID chip. Sorry. The SID chip has an external input that basically I don't think really gets used much at all. It is a free-floating input, and it picks up on a lot of noise. And you'll see here I've done a poke statement here. I've poked the SID chip to turn the volume up full, so we can really hear that coming through. A lot of people don't like that sound, and they ground it, whatnot. I kind of like it. And part of me liking this was I used to, when I was a kid, basically spend all my time doing what I'm going to show you today, which was just poking the SID chip and doing sort of beat frequency stuff. It was something I did when I was 11. I did it for myself. I never consider it music or anything like that. It's just something I just put on and I leave it running for hours. I would sleep to it. It was just kind of like this, I don't know, sound that was kind of like something I really got. It was my thing. It's just something I enjoyed doing. But I never really shared it. I mean, I think the only person who ever really heard it was like my dad, and that was it. So it was something I did. I don't know at what point in my life a Commodore 64 left my life, but I went many years without one. And several years ago, I sort of got interested in doing sound stuff again, playing around with sort of minimal drone, and I fell into that really listening to the music of Eliane Radigue, who is a French composer who did some really amazing. The piece that I listened to the most was Trilogie de la Mort, which is a very minimal drone piece done on an ARP 50 or 2500 and some sort of tape loop effects. But it was a very expressive piece, and I don't know. I sort of listening to that piece intensely a few years ago turned my ears on. I started hearing things differently, tuning into things differently, and it sort of changed how I heard things. And that's when I really started getting into minimal drone music and just recording things and just playing around with sound. And in that sort of searching around with things, I knew there was a sound I always wanted to get back to, which was my Commodore. And so during the pandemic, I bought one. It was fun for a little while, but of course I did the mortal sin. Does anyone want to guess what that was? You got it. So yeah, original power supply, Zap. My good friend Brendan Burgee did a wonderful thing and did a rebuild, and I now have one back in my life. And when it came back in my life, I mean, you saw I was in tears. I mean, it was a wonderful thing. It really is kind of a home-based sound, and I want to get into that. So first of all, I want to do a couple little quick demos on the keyboard here, and then I'm going to load up a piece which is it's long. It's like 13 minutes long, minimal drone piece, and I think I'm taking a real risk doing that because it'll seem like forever. But I want to, when we get into that, we'll do this and we'll get into some notes on that one. But let me just show you something right now. This is the sound. If I like turn the volume off, you can hear how this toggles here. Volume 0. So you can still hear some of that sound coming through, but the SID volume is set down to 0. We'll pop that right back up to, whoops. There's full volume. Now, I'm going to just turn on a filter here. So 54295, 8. So this is going to turn on the filter and filter out that external input. So now you're going to really hear what the contribution of that floating external input is. See that difference there? And you just go back and toggle that. So, and like that sound, you can hear that change as code's running and things like that. So I like having that in my piece. I write these very simple basic programs, and I can hear that sound changing in sort of the upper harmonics, and it kind of becomes, I don't know, part of the character I like in some of the stuff I do. So I want to show you that sound, and now I'm going to just go do a quick thing of the beat frequencies. And what this involves, I have to do a couple minimal step. The minimal step you're going to have to do for that is you're going to have to turn on at least the sustain. So I set a register to 7, 8. Oh, by the way, I got my notes, which are like photos of like my screen, and I've put little copies of these things. They're little double-sided copies on a table back there, and there's also a QR code so you can download the JPEGs of those. So that's my notes. But here, gonna go 278250 poke 54285, comma 250. We're not going to hear anything. This is just going to set our release and sustain level. And then we're going to set the high order byte of 2 of the oscillators. 3, comma 2, 54280, comma 2. So I'm going to set those. We're not going to hear anything yet either. I'm going to set the low order byte of one of them. So it's one value off from the other one. And now I'm going to turn the gate open, and we're going to turn the gate open on a triangle wave. 6. Whoops, 283, comma 17. Here we go. So you get an idea of just, that's what I used to do for hours on end, just that. Like, that is basically the reason I had a Commodore 64. I didn't need to play video games. I didn't need nothing. That was my jam.
So that register you were changing, that's the frequency of one of the triangle waves?
Yeah, and it's just, and so the frequencies are done in 2 bytes, like a higher or lower, and all I'm ever doing is changing the low significant byte. And so that's me kind of going in and doing it, like changing it. But what I do is, of course, I mean, it's basic. So you can like, right? Oh, I love this. I love this part, listening to it load off tape. Oh, I did this at a bar last month. It was awesome. I didn't play this piece, but I played another piece. When we have some time, I'll play that one at the end. But loading off of a program off tape at a bar, like, people just did not understand like what was going on. Like, it was all up on a stage and everything like that. It was quite entertaining. Okay. So this is a Very, very simple program. Again, I have little handouts at the back, that copy of it, and you can type it out. So this program, just like this is basically a for loop and a for loop. It is like the simplest of simple, but like for loop and for loop is a fun thing. Like there's a lot you can do with a for loop and a for loop. And so this is just a very simple one. And you'll see that I've got some numbers in here that don't make a lot of sense. Like I've got like these like, you know, I think in particular the thing that sort of calculates my delay time, and that's like trial and I don't know where the number was. Oh yeah, it's 2952 divided by b. Like that number, that was like trial and error. Like that was like me like playing around with this thing, and I got a number that I really liked. And what you'll hear when I run this is that you'll get the phasing, and the phasing frequency, sort of the timing of it changes. But this number gave me a very smooth transition in that. I actually have a refactored version of this, which I thought was the one I was going to run, but like I listened to it and it sounds like crap because like this little phasing thing just didn't click with me. So I went back to my original program. This is the one I'm going to play. I want you to think about something before I do this. When we listen to things, sometimes when we listen to music, we'll listen to a melody. We might have imagery. It might take you somewhere. This kind of listening is listening more to you and your body, listening to what the sound does in the room. I want you to take some time to turn your head and hear how it bouncing around the room changes that. Sound sounds different when your eyes are open, when your eyes are closed. If you hold your hand out in the air, you actually may even be able to feel the sound. So like our body is a sound receptor. We're just often not really dialed into all the things that go on with us. And with some of the low frequencies, you might feel it in your feet, you might feel it in your butt. Now, people on YouTube are not going to get any of this experience. But we'll give this a go. I'm going to turn up a little bit loud. This is going to be a little while. Your thoughts may wander. Let them. You may fall asleep. Go for it. Just don't snore too loud. And we're all good. So I'm going to let this run. It's going to count down, and you know it's getting to the end when it gets to 1, 2. Okay, so there you go. How you feeling after your sound massage there? Very relaxed? Yeah. So yeah, very funny thing, those little upper registers, and you sort of see like I'm really changing a bass note, but you can hear how those upper little harmonics are twiddling away and changing their pattern and everything like that. That's just kind of the weird thing of that SID chip. Yeah. So that program, it is very, very simple. It is. I've got it written on that little sheet there. A lot of my little programs I make for doing sound are kind of based on this like for loop and a for loop, just my own little fun thing. But I also have ones where I operate within a time frame. So I'll just set a duration, and I'll use the Jiffy timer, and I'll have my program sort of run in a big loop as it goes from like 0 to that duration, and then over that time, now I've got that time variable that I can use in a sine function, a cosine function, and then change some of those values over time, stretch them out. I can like just change whatever function I want, and I can apply it to like the filters, whatnot. And so this one has no filters on it. That's just raw, 2 oscillators. Very, very simple. I want to do the simplest one. I got a question for it because it was kind of an experiment. Did that seem long for you, or was it seem long for anybody or short for anybody? Was it like this? Just seemed like going up. Okay, yeah, it was about 13 minutes. Whenever I do sort of pieces like this live, I always try to go to like the shorter pieces because it's like people won't have the patience for 13-minute drone. But I figured I'll give it an experiment today.
It's nice also having like the visual feedback so you can sort of see where you're at in the whole process, as opposed to, if that wasn't there, I might have felt myself saying,
Exactly. It's yes. Yeah. Which gets me to my next point. I did a piece last month. So I participate in this thing called TMOM, Toronto Electronic Open Mic. It happens every month. It's the second Monday every month. It happens in Kensington Market at a place called the Handlebar. They've got a great sound system. I love the subwoofer there. So when I go do stuff with bass, I just make the whole place rattle. For a long time, I've been wanting to go and do a Commodore thing there, and I don't know. I don't know why I delayed it, but I eventually sort of thought, okay, I got something I like to play there. So I ended up making. I'll load this one up. It's a bar. People are talking. People are having drinks. Not everyone's there to listen to your drone music. So I did something where I thought, okay, well, I'll do something a little more musical, still drone in a way. But in this one, I'm using it's the same sort of like beat frequency stuff going on, but instead of it just sort of counting down like I was doing, it's just varying them. So one time this frequency might be a little up here, this one might be a little bit down here, and it's just based on these little sine waves. But the real pattern is coming from applying the filter. And one of the little tricks in this program is my little trick that I had figured out was using I figured out this of like cubing time, or a sort of a derivative of time, allowed me to sort of make this filter change cubically throughout the piece. So you'll hear it starts off as a drone, and then as you get halfway through it, you get more of the change happening. You get sort of these peaks happening. So this is a piece that I'll finish off with this one. So this is just more of a fun piece. We're using, instead of the triangle wave, which is a softer wave, we're going to use the sawtooth on this one, which is awesome to run through those filters. So we'll give this a go. So here's the program. Again, there's a copy of it, a little handout back there, and I'm going to finish off with this one. So here we go, run. This one's not as long as that one, I promise you. And to your point, it's very important to have a progress thing on it. So you'll see here, I do a little progress thing, and the entire bar was focused on that. So for me, this is what a Commodore 64 is for. I mean, this is all I need for it. Doesn't really need to do anything else but that for me, and that's fine. So yeah, that's my jam. That's what I do. Okay. Pardon?
Because like it's already at the ready prompt, and then it starts to fade out. How do you do that?
Oh, so that has to do with the envelope. So that's the release. So right at the beginning of the program, we set the attack, decay, and release. And so when the last thing that the program does is basically turn off the gate, and the program's done, but the note's still fading off in the SID chip.
Right.
Yeah. So there's no program that has to fade it out. The SID chip takes care of that.
Have you ever tried these very pieces on another 64, or for that matter, on an 8580 SID chip?
I have not. I mean, I've tried on my other one before it died and everything. I mean, it sounds the same. I haven't, and I can tell you, I've tried it in emulators. There's just no point. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just, I mean, why? It's not even a sound. Like the sound is so not the same that it's like, why do even emulators exist? I mean, just get rid of them. They don't even. I mean, it's like it just doesn't do it. So I don't know if there's like anyone out there has built like the emulator that will get us that. No, right? So that's why it's this one thing. It's like you can do all kinds of things on other hardware, but this one thing I want to do, I need that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually been a real issue for me, because it's like, so I mostly at home. I was doing it through my monitor, and that was one of the first sort of things I discovered. I was like hooking up, doing recordings. Got my little digital recorder. And I get these recordings, and I play, and then they sound wrong. They sound like really wrong, way wrong. And I realized the monitor's kind of part of it. So like the RF interference, that background sound was kind of part of it. So I've done stuff where I've actually like hooked a microphone here and got pretty good recordings that way. In fact, I did a presentation back in September, and like we plugged into the sound system there, and I couldn't, like, it's like, this is all wrong. This isn't working. Give me a mic. And we just mic'd the monitor, and that was the right sound for that room. What I have found, and actually I got this advice from listening to your recordings, Leaf, because I didn't know how to do my recordings. Like I was doing them raw out, and I realized I need to add a little bit of reverb, because the room sound is part of the sound. And if I don't have just that little bit of reverb in there, it doesn't work. I open it for light, just I didn't want too much of the. Yeah, no, it does, and that's another interesting thing too, is that the room does make a big difference. So, like I had this thing down in my living room a while ago, and the sound really bounces around there, and I had a long piece going with a lot of sawtooth wave, and it was really weird because you could walk around and it would sound like really loud right here, and then really quiet right here. And then like sound a little bit pitchy over here. Like like the sound was almost like in little columns and pockets throughout the room. The way it was bouncing around was really interesting. Yeah. We're good. We're good. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, I can't play this too loud in one particular room, but it's for good. Yeah.
To that point on sounding waves, I was lucky enough to be in the corner.
Yeah.
The asymmetric reflections.
Yeah.
What's the signal path? You mentioned monitors and that.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I've just got a Y splitter on it right now, and let's just we can do a little test here. Do we actually get a signal change, or is it just my superstition? Right? We'll see here. No difference. No. Okay. There's the test in this case, but I could swear I had a difference at one point, so I don't know. It could just be superstition, and I'm hearing that. I've got this. So it is what week was it's the 6581, but it was which week is it's from 83, fifth week of 83, I think. Yeah.
I think it's an R3.
Yeah. So these programs, I have them on here. There's little handouts. I mean, go ahead, take them with you. Try them out at home. They're lots of fun. So these are like the little instructions that I ran through. I've got the programs on the back. So like I said, they're very simple. But these are kind of the two structures of programs I have, like a for loop within a for loop, and this idea of running through from just using the timer and using the time value in your calculations to change your values. So those two structures and figuring out what all the little numbers do, that's for you to hack around and figure out and play around with. So there's more than there. Yeah, so like that's like definitely I encourage people to try it out because you really do have to hear it on original hardware. Yeah. Yes, I've actually also hooked up guitar pickups to the pylons and done recordings that way as well. So, yeah.
That sound right there that we're still hearing.
Yeah.
Is that just like a tone from the SID that you still have on?
This is actually what this is. What we're hearing right now is we're hearing there's an external input pin which is actually attached to like one of the ports at the side there, and it's like this weird thing that nothing really uses it. So it's like this weird feature that was added that no one uses, and it creates noise. Like it's like the dumbest thing ever. So we're hearing a lot of that. Also, I just played something. So the oscillators are on, and we told it to run the envelope, the ADSR, and it's done sort of the full decay. But even after the full decay, the oscillator is still running. There's still a little bit of sound there. Like even when you hit gate off, I find there's still a little bit of something going on in there. So yeah, it's just that's the sound of the SID plus the internal RF noise coming through that internal input. And again, yeah, if I poke that filter, whoops, did I get it right? No, wrong port. No, wrong one. What port was it? I'm doing the wrong thing here. Yeah, no, it's 295. Yeah, no, we're still getting that high pitch stuff there. That's the you can hear, and they were still getting the oscillator on there. So let's see here. Let's see. That turns up. Turns off the node again. No, that's it. That's just the trailing of the SID chip. Yeah. Turn that down. So that's kind of about it. I don't really say. That's it. Okay. All right.